Hey there. Let me tell you about a time I felt weighed down by everyone else's expectations. For decades, I lived to keep others happy. Family, friends, neighbors, even my church group. I said yes to every request, every expectation, thinking it made me a good person. I hosted huge Thanksgiving dinners, volunteered for every community bake sale, even wore outfits I didn't like just to fit in. But you know what? It wore me down. My heart raced, my energy vanished, and I felt like I was carrying a mountain of other people's needs. I wasn't living for me. Ever felt trapped like that? Like you're bending over backward to please others, and somewhere along the way, you lost yourself. Here's the truth. After 70, some habits we've held on to for years, habits we thought defined us, just don't make sense anymore. They steal our joy, our time, our freedom to live the way we want. Today, I'm diving deep into 7 things that don't make sense after 70. These are the pressures and patterns I let go of, and they've been truly life-changing. From clearing out clutter to dropping old career goals and rethinking how I spend my money, these shifts have made me lighter, happier, and freer than ever. I'm not just surviving my 70s, I'm thriving, and I want that for you too. One of these things shocked me when I realized how much it was holding me back. It's something so many of us do without thinking. Stick around to find out what it is, because it might change how you see your life. Ready to live freer with me? Subscribe right now, hit that bell so you don't miss a thing, and comment, "I'm ready," below to join me on this journey. Let's do this together. Let's dive into thing number 1, worrying about pleasing everyone. For most of my life, I was the go-to person. Family dinners, I hosted them. Neighbor needed a ride to the doctor, I was there. Church committee needed a volunteer, my hand was up. I thought saying yes to everyone made me a good dad, a good friend, a good neighbor. It felt like my job to keep people happy, to wear what they liked, act how they expected, even smile when I was exhausted. But let me tell you, it was draining. I'd come home from a day of pleasing others, and I'd feel empty. My heart was racing, my shoulders were tight, and I wasn't sure who I was anymore. Ever felt like you're living for someone else's approval? Like you're bending over backward to make others happy, but you're the one paying the price? This habit doesn't just tire you out, it can hurt you. A 2023 study in the Journal of Gerontology found that social pressure significantly increases cortisol, or stress hormone, in seniors, raising risks for heart disease, poor sleep, and low mood. I remember one holiday season, I spent weeks planning a perfect Christmas party for my extended family. I worried about every detail, the turkey, the decorations, what everyone would think of my home. I was so stressed. My blood pressure spiked, and I landed in the doctor's office. All for what? To hear someone say, "Nice party?" It wasn't worth it. Another time, I bought a jacket I didn't even like because my book club friends said it was stylish. I wore it once, felt awkward, and it's been in my closet ever since. Pleasing everyone was stealing my peace, my health, my sense of self. But here's the beautiful part. You don't have to live like that anymore. After 70, your time is too precious to spend on others' expectations. You can let go of this habit and start living for you. Here's how I did it, and you can too. First, practice saying no. Start small. Maybe it's skipping one family errand or declining an invite to a meeting you dread. Try saying, "Thanks, but I can't make it this time." It feels strange at first, but it gets easier. Second, do one thing just for you this week. Wear that comfy jacket you love, even if it's not fancy. Listen to your favorite music, not what others expect. I started painting again, something I loved as a kid, but gave up because it wasn't productive. Now, every brushstroke feels like freedom. Third, keep an eye on your stress. I use my Garmin to track my heart rate and stress levels, and it's helped me stay calm when I start to slip back into old habits. It's like a little reminder to put myself first. Let me tell you about the first time I said no. My cousin asked me to organize a big family reunion. Normally, I'd have said yes and stressed for months. But I said, "I'm sorry, I can't take that on." You know what? The world didn't end. Someone else stepped up, and I spent that time gardening, which I love. I felt lighter, like I'd taken off a heavy backpack. That's what letting go feels like. So what's one thing you're ready to say no to? Maybe it's a favor you don't have time for, or an expectation you don't want to meet. Who are you living for? After 70, it's time to live for you. Up next, we're tackling something that's cluttering your home and your heart. So, let's move to thing number 2. Holding on to clutter that weighs you down. My house used to be a museum of stuff. Old furniture from my parents, clothes I hadn't worn since the 80s, my kids' high school trophies, even my late wife's toolbox. I kept it all because I thought it held my memories, my identity. Every closet, every drawer was stuffed, and I told myself it was fine. But it wasn't. Every time I opened my garage, I felt overwhelmed, like my stuff was suffocating me. My kids moved out years ago, but their old toys were still there, gathering dust. Ever walked into a room and felt crushed by all the things you're holding on to? This isn't just about a messy house, it's about your mental health. A 2022 study in psychology and aging found that clutter significantly increases anxiety in seniors, making it harder to relax or focus. Every item you keep is a decision you're carrying, a weight on your mind. Clutter can make you feel stuck, like you're living in the past instead of the present. For me, it was my wife's tools. She passed away 10 years ago, and I couldn't bring myself to give them away. I thought letting go meant losing him. But every time I saw that toolbox, I felt sad, not comforted. My home was chaotic, my stress was high, and I couldn't find space to breathe. I talked to a friend who downsized her home, and she said, "Your memories aren't in the stuff, they're in you." That hit me hard. Holding on to clutter wasn't keeping my past alive, it was holding me back. Here's how you can break free, step by step. First, start small. Pick one drawer or one shelf this weekend. Don't try to tackle the whole house. That's overwhelming. Sort through it. Keep what you love. Donate or recycle what you don't. Ask yourself, does this bring me joy? Do I use it? If the answer's no, let it go. Second, make it a habit. Set aside 15 minutes a week to declutter another small space. I started with my kitchen junk drawer. You know, the one with old pens and expired coupons. It took 10 minutes, and I felt like I'd won a prize. Third, replace stuff with experiences. I donated my old clothes and joined Silver Sneakers classes, which are free through many Medicare plans. Their group walks and coffee chats showed me that joy comes from people, not possessions. My house feels lighter, and so does my heart. Let me share a story. After clearing my garage, I found an old rocking chair I hadn't used in years. I gave it to a young couple in my neighborhood, and they were thrilled. Seeing their smiles felt better than keeping that chair in storage. Now, my home is a place of peace, not chaos. What's one thing you're holding on to that you could let go? Imagine how free you'll feel without it. Hey, thing number 3 is chasing career-defining achievements. Back in my 50s and 60s, I was all about the big wins. I worked long hours, chased promotions, and took on projects to prove I was the best. It gave me purpose, status. I loved the applause, the recognition. But after 70, I kept at it. I took consulting gigs, joined boards, even started a small side hustle, all to show I was still relevant. It was a race I couldn't stop running. I regretted missing my grandkids' soccer games, skipping family dinners, and having no time to relax. My heart wasn't in it, but I kept going. Ever felt like you're still trying to prove yourself even when you've already won the game? This doesn't make sense after 70, and science backs it up. A 2024 study in the Journal of Aging Studies found that chasing status or achievements in retirement reduces life satisfaction, often leading to regret and burnout. It's not just about time, it's about your health. Constant pressure raises your blood pressure, disrupts sleep, and leaves you feeling unfulfilled. I remember working on a consulting pitch at 72. I stayed up late, got short with my wife over nothing, and felt like a failure when the client chose someone else. I'd spent weeks on something that didn't matter, and I regretted missing a weekend with my daughter because of it. I was proving myself to people who weren't even watching. After 70, your worth isn't in your resume. It's in your relationships, your joy, your life. So how do you let this go? It's easier than you think. First, redefine success. It's not about titles or money. It's about moments that light you up. Maybe it's reading a good book, cooking with your grandkids, or taking a walk in the park. Second, try something new that's just for you. I started volunteering at a local food bank. It's not glamorous, but it feels better than any corner office. Third, reflect on what you've already done. You've worked hard, built a life. You don't need to prove anything. Write down 3 things you're proud of from your past, then 3 things you love about your life now. I did this, and it reminded me that my value is in who I am, not what I do. Here's a moment that changed me. I turned down a consulting job last year, one I would have jumped at before. Instead, I spent that week teaching my grandson how to fish. We laughed, we talked, and I felt more accomplished than any boardroom win. What's one small win you can celebrate today? Maybe it's a hobby you love or time with someone special. Comment number 3 below and share it with me. So, thing number 4 is saying yes to draining social obligations. I used to fill my calendar with events, church potlucks, neighborhood barbecues, charity galas. I went because I felt I had to, because it was my role in the community. But half the time, I was bored, tired, or just counting the minutes until I could leave. I'd drive home exhausted, wishing I'd stayed home with a cup of tea and a good book. Ever said yes to an event and regretted it the moment you walked in? Ever left an event and felt relieved to be free? This doesn't make sense after 70, and it's not just about feeling tired. A 2024 study in the Journal of Social Gerontology found that social overload, saying yes to too many events, reduces well-being in seniors, increasing feelings of isolation, even in crowds. Constant socializing with people you don't connect with can make you feel lonely, not fulfilled. I remember dragging myself to a community board meeting. I sat there, barely listening, feeling out of place. I left with a headache, realizing I hadn't enjoyed a single moment. Another time, I went to a distant cousin's baby shower out of obligation. I didn't know anyone, and I spent the whole time wishing I was home. Those events were draining my time, my joy, my life. Here's how to break free. First, give yourself permission to say no. You don't need an excuse. A simple, "Thanks, but I can't make it," is enough. Practice it this week on one event you're dreading. Second, prioritize quality over quantity. Instead of a big group event, meet one close friend for coffee or a walk. I started having quiet lunches with my best pal, and it's the highlight of my week. Third, fill your time with what you love. If you say no to a draining obligation, use that time for something meaningful. Maybe gardening, reading, or calling a loved one. My Garmin tracks my steps on my walks with friends, and it's a double win for my heart and soul. Let me tell you about the first time I skipped an obligation. My neighbor invited me to a fundraising gala. Fancy, crowded, not my thing. I said, "Thanks, but I'm taking a pass. Instead, I watched a movie with my son. We laughed, ate popcorn, and made memories. It felt like a gift to myself. What's one event you can skip this month? Who would you rather spend time with? Your time is precious. Up next, we're rethinking a financial habit that's holding you back. Thing number 5 is saving every penny for the future. For years, I was the king of frugality. I skipped vacations, avoided eating out, and never bought anything I didn't need. I told myself I was being smart, saving for some big what if, maybe medical bills or a rainy day. I worried about Medicare copays, unexpected home repairs, you name it. But after 70, I realized I was missing out. I didn't take that road trip with my kids when they were younger. I didn't buy that cozy recliner I wanted. I was so focused on the future, I forgot to live in the present. Ever held back on something you love because you thought you'd need the money later? This habit doesn't just limit your fun. It hurts your quality of life. A 2023 study in the Journal of Financial Planning found that excessive frugality in retirement reduces overall life satisfaction, leading to regret and missed opportunities. When you save every penny, you're not just saving money, you're saving stress and what-ifs. I remember passing on a family cruise because it felt too expensive. My kids went without me, and I still regret it. Another time, I didn't replace my old lumpy mattress because I thought I could make do. I slept poorly, my back hurt, and I was grumpy all the time. Saving every penny wasn't making me secure. It was making me miserable. Here's how to let go and live a little. First, give yourself permission to spend on joy, not recklessly, but intentionally. This week, buy something small that makes you smile. Maybe a nice dinner at your favorite restaurant, a new book, or a treat from Costco for your grandkids. I bought a set of gardening tools, and every time I use them, I feel happy. Second, set a fun budget. Decide on a small amount each month you can spend without guilt. Maybe $50 or $100. YNAB, that budgeting app, helps me plan so I can enjoy today without stressing about tomorrow. Third, think about experiences, not just things. Take your family to a local festival, sign up for a painting class, or just go for ice cream with a friend. Those moments are worth more than any savings account. Let me share a story. Last year, I splurged on a weekend getaway with my brother. We stayed at a little bed and breakfast, ate at a cute diner, and talked for hours. It wasn't cheap, but it was worth every penny. I came home feeling alive, not broke. What's one thing you'd love to spend a little on? Maybe a small treat or a special day out. Your life is happening now. Don't wait. Next, we're tackling people you need to let go of. So thing number 6 is tolerating negative relationships. I had a friend for years who was a constant complainer. Every call was a litany of criticism. My house wasn't fancy enough. My hobbies weren't exciting. My life wasn't grand. I kept her around out of loyalty, thinking that's what friends do. But every conversation left me feeling small, anxious, like I wasn't good enough. I'd hang up the phone and feel heavy, like I'd been through a battle. With Medicare costs rising, I was also stressed, and her negativity made it worse. Ever stayed close to someone who drags you down, even though you know it's not healthy? This doesn't make sense after 70, and it's not just about hurt feelings. A 2023 study in health psychology found that toxic relationships raise stress hormones, which can harm your heart, increase blood pressure, and weaken your immune system. I stuck with that friend for decades, and it took a toll. I dread her calls but pick up anyway, thinking I owed her. One time, she criticized my decision to retire, said I was giving up. I spent days second-guessing myself, feeling like a failure. That negativity was poisoning my peace, and I didn't realize how much until I stepped back. Here's how to break free. First, set boundaries with one negative person in your life. You don't have to cut them off completely. Just limit contact. Maybe call less often or meet in group settings instead of one-on-one. I started texting my friend instead of long calls, and it made a huge difference. Second, surround yourself with positivity. Seek out people who lift you up, who make you laugh, who value you for you. I joined a Silver Sneakers group, and the friends I've made there are like sunshine. They cheer me on no matter what. Third, check in with yourself. After you talk to someone, ask, do I feel better or worse? If the answer's worse, it's time to pull back. Your heart deserves better. Let me tell you about the moment it clicked for me. My friend called to complain, again, and I just said, I'm sorry, I've got to go. I didn't pick up her next call. Instead, I went to a Silver Sneakers yoga class and met a woman who's now my walking buddy. We talk about life, not complaints, and I leave feeling energized. Who's one person who lights up your life? Who's one you might need to see less? Comment below and let me know. We've got one last thing. It's a big retirement trap. Hey, thing number 7 is striving for a picture-perfect retirement. When I retired, I had this image in my head. Big cruises to Europe, a fancy remodeled house, Instagram-worthy adventures every month. I thought that's what retirement was supposed to be. I stressed over planning perfect trips, comparing my life to my neighbor's Facebook posts or my sister's travel blog. It felt like I was failing if I wasn't living this glamorous, bucket list life. Ever felt like your retirement isn't measuring up to some ideal you've seen or heard about? This doesn't make sense after 70, and it's not just about unrealistic goals. A 2024 study in the Journal of Aging Studies found that perfectionism in retirement reduces life satisfaction and increases stress. Chasing that perfect image isn't just tiring, it's unhealthy. I planned a huge Europe trip at 71, thinking it would be the highlight of my retirement. I spent months researching, booking, and worrying about every detail. The stress gave me headaches, and when I got there, I was too tired to enjoy it. I came home exhausted, not fulfilled. Another time, I considered remodeling my kitchen to look like a magazine spread. I got estimates, stressed over the cost, and realized I didn't even care about a fancy kitchen. I just wanted to cook with my grandkids. That perfect image was stealing my joy. Here's how to let go and embrace the retirement you actually want. First, redefine what perfect means to you. It's not about what others do. It's about what makes you happy. For me, it's simple things: reading by the window, walking my dog, coffee with my kids. Second, try one small thing you love this week. Maybe it's signing up for a local art class, visiting a nearby park, or just watching a favorite movie. I started journaling my daily joys, just a few lines about what made me smile. It's better than any cruise. Third, let go of comparisons. Your retirement is yours, not your neighbor's or some influencer's. Write down 3 things you love about your life right now: your home, your family, your hobbies. I did this, and it reminded me how rich my life already is. Let me share a moment that changed everything. Last summer, I skipped a big travel plan and hosted a simple barbecue in my backyard. My kids, grandkids, and a few friends came over. We ate burgers, played cards, and laughed until dark. It wasn't fancy, but it was perfect. What's one small thing that made you smile today? Think about it as we wrap up with a challenge. So, there you have it. 7 things that don't make sense after 70. Worrying about pleasing everyone, holding on to clutter, chasing career wins, saying yes to draining events, saving every penny, tolerating negative people, and striving for a picture-perfect retirement. These habits might have served you once. Maybe they gave you status, security, or a sense of duty. But now, they're holding you back from the life you deserve, a life full of joy, freedom, and meaning. Letting go isn't about giving up. It's about making space for what matters most. I let go of these habits, and I've never been happier. My home is lighter. My heart is fuller, and I'm living for me, not someone else's expectations. I'm not just getting by in my 70s. I'm thriving, and I want that for you too. Your 80s are coming, and they can be your best years yet if you start now. Here's your challenge. Pick one thing from this list to let go of this week. Maybe it's saying no to a draining event, clearing one drawer of clutter, or spending a little on something you love. Try it, see how it feels, and notice the freedom it brings. What will your first step be? Which of these 7 things hit home for you? Comment number 7 below if it's the perfect retirement trap, or pick your favorite number. Subscribe, hit that bell, and share this video with a friend you love. Someone who deserves to live freer too. Let's keep this journey going together. Your life is waiting. Make it yours, starting today.